Look, it's finally day 1289 of What's She Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting the journey as I transition from the brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business, and sharing my lessons learned, the good, the bad, the ugly, what I'm doing, what I'm working on, what's working, what's not. So today I said kind soap, because soap is the soap framework for the Get Up and Go Challenge. Day 10 today, really probably one of my favorite days, but with the 10-minute limit, it's really hard to describe and give an overview of the soap framework in that amount of time. But I gave it a shot. Describe the soap framework, which is the framework that we use and we install in our subconscious in the Get Up and Go Challenge. Get Up and Go Challenge. Over a 30-day period, we spend 10 days. We actually spend 9 days laying the groundwork, laying the foundation. Day 10, I introduce the soap framework. Day 11, 12, and 13, well, no. The next 12 days then, we break down the soap framework for one area or aspect of our life. There's 9 areas and aspects of our life: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, and I added confidence and communication in actually just 2021, just in April of this year. I added those 2 areas because they're areas I want to focus on and continue to grow in through 2021 and then into 2022. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to be working on them, why not share that journey with other people? And the Get Up and Go Challenge is a perfect opportunity to do that. And so I set goals. I set lifetime, legacy, long-term goals in those areas. And then I break that down, in long-term goals, and then annual, quarterly, monthly, weekly, all the way down to daily. What am I doing to work on moving toward each of those areas and aspects of my life? Just the way I've done it for decades now, probably since the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Thank you, Tony Robbins, and all the other personal development people that gave me that framework and helped me to, it was just 7 things originally that I learned it. And I think Tony Robbins probably got it from Jim Rohn, who got it from, who knows, Napoleon Hill. I don't know where it exactly came from. Probably, I'd have to think of Think and Grow Rich and where my memory of that. Not important where it comes from, just that I use it and it works for me. So, excuse my cloggy throat, talking about the soap framework today, and I think I'm going to move forward with, I have some ideas around the soap framework that I think are really fun. I think I'm going to move forward with those. I've been kind of batting them around for about a year now, and I'm like, okay, well, it's 2021, let's do something with this, or let's decide that they're not ideas that we're going to go forward with. So working on that. Again, day 10 today, we spend up to day 10 really making sure that we're all on the same page when it comes to where we're at. And it doesn't mean we're all on the exact same page. It's just that we understand ourselves where we're at so that we can look at the soap framework, practice it, and then see how it fits into our life, and then how we can integrate it into a long-term automatic way of making progress from the challenge on. Our annual challenge, speaking of challenges, most people's response to changes or things are to, they're very different, right? We all have different responses. Mine is to find a challenge and set up a challenge and deal with it that way. It's like, okay, if this is a problem or a challenge or an obstacle or a failure or a setback or a roadblock or whatever you call it, adversity, problem, a lot of people will respond by freezing up or doing all kinds of different things. We talked about that yesterday in the Get Up and Go Challenge. And then how do you flip that switch and what do you do differently? And mine is to do a challenge. So for the last 4 years, I have done an annual challenge. The first one started out with doing one thing every day that scares you, or scared me, was the title of the book. And I did that, and I picked that on purpose because I was scared to do videos. I was scared to do online videos. I was scared to talk to, not scared to talk to people. I've always been able to talk to people in small groups, even in large groups, in front of audiences if I had to, in corporate. But I was like most people when it comes to thinking about doing a video and recording something I say or do. I was petrified. So that first challenge was a year of every day doing something that stretched my comfort zone. So now 1,289 videos later, just in this segment, obviously I don't have a problem just popping on and talking about what's going on, what's working, what's not, and just kind of showing up. And I don't care what people think. And that took at least that year to get over. I don't care what people think. And believe me, I've gotten some very entertaining, and that's the the difference now. In the beginning, I would have been devastated when I got some of the haters and the feedback and the things that I'd gotten, especially when I was pajama grandma every day. That opened me up to a lot of critique and criticism, which I cared about in the beginning. I think we all do. And then as our experience and our confidence grows in an area, we start to know that it doesn't matter. And then we find out that the people that are providing the negative feedback and the criticisms, they're not doing anything even close to what it is that we're doing. So who are they to judge and criticize anyway? And once you have that perspective, once you learn that lesson and have that aha realization, you're like, you don't care. Because the people that are doing what we're doing and want to be doing and that we're moving toward, they would never criticize us. They might give us some constructive feedback or some ideas and shortcuts on how to do things better, but they would never trash us or criticize us. So that's a good thing to keep in mind. So today, our 365-day challenge, all about you, to do one thing every day that centers us, was about being kinder and blinder. Now, I can totally do the blinder thing. That's going to be tomorrow. But today, we're being kinder, and we're sharing how can we be kind today. And I say start by being just kinder to yourself. If you're not around anybody because you're still following some COVID practices, or maybe you're sick, or maybe you're isolated, or maybe you're just alone by choice or by circumstances, be kinder to yourself. That's always the place to start. Guess what? The only place we can ever start anything is with ourselves, because everything comes from within us. So be kinder to yourself today and other people as well if you have the opportunity. And then the soap framework. So I say kinder soap equals the light at the end of the tunnel. Our idiom for supersize your business today was to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that, of course, means that we have a reason to believe that a difficult situation or something we've been dealing with for a very long time will soon come to an end, soon come to a resolution, or be finished soon. So I think about going to college, right? College took me a long time because I had health challenges in the midst of it. And so I think my parents, my dad probably more so than me, was like, are you ever going to graduate? Are you ever going to be done going to college? And I, of course, like most college students, if you've gone to college or done a big project, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You start out a big project and you're like, okay, I have my vision of this, but there's a little doubt and uncertainty as to whether and how long it's going to actually take you and that you'll actually get it done. Now, as soon as you commit to something, when I commit to something, as soon as we commit to it, I know it's going to get done. I just don't know when it's going to get done. For example, when we raise our kids, when we have children and raise kids, any parents out there or grandkids, we don't know exactly when they're going to stand on their own 2 feet and take 100% personal responsibility for themselves or not. It's different for every child. It's different for every human. There's a lot of adults that never in their entire life take responsibility for themselves, much less 100% responsibility for themselves. But as we're raising our kids in the beginning when they're infants, and I just hung out with my 6-month-old grandbaby for the weekend, so I realized and got this message back. When they're little and they're tiny and they're just learning how to do everything, we don't know how long it's going to be, how many years that they need us to help them and coach them and show them the way. But at some point, we have a realization that, okay, my kids have grown up, they are independent thinkers, they really don't need me anymore. And for, each child is different. My daughter was probably 16. She was young when she was like, yeah, I got this, Mom. My son, older. And just different human beings. But even ourselves, okay, am I old enough to grow up and take care of myself and be personally responsible for everything I think and do and say and have and become? It's something that we all, or I hope we all ponder. I guess probably most people don't, but I wish we would all ponder it because I think it would make the world a much better place. But do we see the light at the end of the tunnel? When they're little, we don't always see the light at the end of the tunnel. When we've been up all night pacing with a little boy or a little girl with an ear infection, we're like exhausted, and it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel when you're exhausted. But someday, they're graduating from high school, they're graduating from college, they're getting married, they're doing the things that make them happy, they're having kids of their own. And that's when we know that when you do that flip from mom to grandma, it's an incredible thing. And I always say it's because you can always give your grandchildren back. You don't have ultimate responsibility for them. So the level of stress associated with hanging out and raising your grandkids is very different than the level of stress and responsibility when you're raising your own children. I am digressing. Anyway, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, by the way, no matter what, no matter how crazy the world seems, there's always a way out. There's always a way out of the tunnel. There's always the light at the end of the tunnel. It's great if we can see the light because we know what we're going toward, but sometimes we don't see that light. And so we have to remember to be the light ourselves, to be the light and the reminder that we know where we're going. And even though it's foggy and we're bogged down in nonsense and chaos and craziness now, it doesn't mean we're not going to get through it. We always get through everything, right? 100% of the days so far, we've survived. All of us. So we need to cut ourselves some slack, be a little kinder to ourselves, and realize that we got this. So, Get Up and Go Challenge, Supersize Your Business, annual challenge. Kids came home late last night, so I am back to just being grandma. Not 100% responsible. And that's it. That's what I'm working on. Again, some projects with respect to the Get Up and Go Challenge. Deciding what direction that's going to go next. I'm going to finish out 2021. I'll do at least 1 or 2 more 30-day challenges because I love doing it. I love doing it. I think it's fun. It's awesome. It's a way to really help a lot of people in what feels like a really teeny tiny way, but will positively impact them for the rest of their lives. Who doesn't want to share stuff that will positively impact people for the rest of their lives? Well, I do for sure. I hope you do too. That's it. That's all I've got today. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Just ask. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow just to update you on what's working, what's not, offline, online, because I'm doing a little bit of a crossover this year. And probably for the rest of my life, I'll be back dipping my toes in and sticking my fingers in the offline business world as well as the online business world. All right. Have a great day. I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.